What is up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm back to the Scevoli Tano show. I'm always back because, it's my show. I got to be back. If there's not, then there's no substitute teacher. I'm the substitute and the teacher at the same time. See what I did there, people? I know. I'm pretty good. But welcome to the Scevoli Tonight show. We have a very special guest today with us. You might have seen her doing her awesome ASAJJ VENTRESS cosplay. DropitLikeitsSoth is on the show tonight. Hi. We're going to talk about the breakdown for episode 9. ASAJJ VENTRESS is back. Spoiler, I just said the spoiler, but it's okay. I said the alert after. It's okay. It's like when the kid goes missing, the Amber Alert. The kid just goes missing, and the kid's been missing for like 8 hours, and you just sent out an Amber Alert now. Come on, people. Get with it. But drop it like it's hot. We're going to drop it like it's hot tonight, girl.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. This is awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to come on my show.
What perfect timing also. I feel like the universe the force made this happen for us, for sure.
It definitely did. But before we start our conversation, the Tonight Show with DropitLikeitsSoth TJ, be sure to subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, the Scevoli Tano Show, guys. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to break down the episode of Bad Batch, episode 9. We get 2 episodes next week. And then we're also going to get into how she became this amazing ASAJJ VENTRESS cosplayer, asking us questions, maybe play some games. We don't know on the Scevoli Tano show. I could just lose my hair in like a minute. You don't ever know. We could just start shaving each other's hair off. We don't know.
Have a Britney moment. I mean, I've thought about it because it would make my cosplay so much easier. But for the moment, I have hair still. So
yeah, I can be the next ASAJJ VENTRESS. I'll just shave my head bald.
I love that. The world is your oyster at that point.
Yeah, I can do anything I want in this world, people. Get it. But how are we feeling, TJ, about this episode? Episode 9. Now, I expected it. I thought it would be episode 10. I personally thought it would be episode 10 because that's like a big, and there's 2 episodes dropping next week. So it's the 10th and the 11th. Oh, I get balloons.
Oh, I don't know. So exciting.
Yeah, that's how exciting I was for it.
I feel like I was just, I couldn't even enjoy. I think I texted you this because I can't. Up into this week's episode, I couldn't even enjoy Bad Batch because I was so anxious for her to come on screen. So every scene, I'd be like, "Is this it? Is this it?" And then I'd be trying to use the trailer, which didn't help me at all in the long run. And this looks like the scene that she was in. Oh my god, this is it. This. And then every time I'd be like, "It's not it." And I can't even enjoy the show. But I feel like this week was such a treat, and I am so excited to talk about it because it made me emotional. I won't lie.
It's it. I think, I'm like I told you, I think I texted you that I was just reading the Dark Disciple book. I wanted to read it for a long time, but I was just too busy and never got around to it. I wanted to read the Thrawn books, and I just got caught up in Thrawn. That blue hair motherfucker is amazing. He's like my god.
He's like the autistic. So I am ADHD, and so I see so much of myself in Thrawn because he's so autistic and it's really so wonderful, and I'm like, I love this man so much. I guess he's not a man, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you haven't finished Dark Disciple yet?
I have not finished Dark Disciple. I'm on the part where Quinlan is saying he's just telling ASAJJ that he's a Jedi. After that part, I stopped it because I was coming on to do the show.
So I will tell you and everybody else, I'm not going to spoil anything. Obviously, we know what happens just because of all the controversy online. But do not read the last 2 chapters in public because I've read it 3, 4, maybe even 5 times, and I cry every time. So do not read it in public because you'll be like, oh, I gotta find somewhere to hide.
I gotta go in the corner. You see me at Starbucks, just in fetal position, just crying.
That's me every time, and I was not prepared the first time. I think I even have an old TikTok. I was like, I can't even believe what's happening right now, and I'm just sitting there crying, and it's so ugly. But you gotta share real life, right?
Yeah, that's the real life. You gotta get your real life reactions.
Yeah, exactly.
But I knew when the caption said a mysterious figure, I was like, okay, she's showing up this episode. But I don't know how they were going to do it. I really thought she was going to be on a planet, and they went to the planet and they ran into her. And that's how it would start. I knew Fennec Shan called her, of course, but I wasn't thinking.
Sense, she was a bounty hunter, and we saw her as a bounty hunter in the last of the Clone Wars. and that was the last time we did see her. So it does make sense that she would have met Fennec there.
Yeah, I don't know why this is going like this. Yeah, but but yeah. So I was like, okay, how are they gonna do this? And then they did it so perfectly. Like I thought it was lined up. I feel like these Bad Batch episodes are so fast. Like it's really like you gotta catch the spots, and like 27 minutes, 25 minutes go so fast. When I'm recording myself to do my reactions for the channel, I'm like, is it over already? Like, how is that possible?
I know. And like, I guess there's so much we can talk about when we get deeper into the episode, but there are so many parallels in this, actually, even to the original trilogy.
Mhm.
And I don't think that you have to have read the book to enjoy it, as long as you've watched Clone Wars. Because if you hadn't watched Clone Wars, you'd be like, who is this chick? Like, why, what makes her so important? I still think it would have been a good episode if you don't know who she is, but the people that had any sort of emotional connection to her, I think that this was such a groundbreaking episode for her, because there was so many different, even from the second she shows up, it's just a different Ventress, and the Ventress that is almost depicted in Dark Disciple, and they just did it so elegantly, and I love it.
I think like when you read, like I'm reading the Dark Disciple book, like that you first meet her like so distraught, so alone. Like she doesn't think no one will ever care for her, no one will ever like be that figure for her. Like her, I could say friend, like you, because you always need that friend to guide you. And I think when Quinlan started to come, he was there with her, and it wasn't supposed to happen like a love kind of relationship at all. Like it was just supposed to be a job.
It's not like one of those like, ugh, really, did they have to put that in there? Like, it's not cheesy.
No. Like, and Quinlan is such like, you could see when you even watch a couple episodes of Clone Wars when he was on, like he was just this guy like, yeah, we can do that. Like, let's just do it anyway. Like, just to go ahead, and it matches ASAJJ Ventress's personality a little too. Like, if you really look in deep dive into ASAJJ and what her personality was back in the Clone Wars, and then you have Quinlan Voss's coming in, it's a good mix. Like I think it's a good mix, right, to start off. And I'm not finished. Like I said, I'm not finished with the book. But I think as I get into the book, I'll understand more. But already I'm understanding. Okay, like she's accepting of him. You know, she's accepting of who he is and stuff like that so far.
And I think like oftentimes what I have compared ASAJJ to is like almost like a dark side Kenobi. And even though she didn't fully fall to the dark side, she lost everybody she loved.
Mhm.
She lost her original Jedi Master, she lost her sisters, and she lost Dooku as a master. So she's had everything, and her family before she went, you know, like she was a slave before that and sold into slavery. And so before she became a Jedi, or a Padawan, I guess. But she has lost everything, just like Kenobi. So we almost see the other side of like what Kenobi dealt with. And Quinlan kind of reminds me of Qui-Gon a little bit. Like he's kind of gray Jedi vibes, but it's like that love story. Like, oh, I know you don't like live action as much, but that story in live action would be so amazing. And I'll be here to cast if anybody needs me. I'll work for free. I don't even care. But like, even if it's not me, I would just love to see that. It's so dark and gritty, but also like grown up Star Wars, just like Andor.
Now, who would you want to have be played a live action ASAJJ if they went? Now, you'd be perfect. You would be perfect.
I mean, it would be a big shoes to fill, 100%. But like, that's such a pipe dream of mine. I would absolutely love to do that. But you know, there's so many wonderful people out there that know how to act. But I just would want somebody who loves her character, so that they could really take that passion. Somebody who understands that, because I feel like sometimes they do cast people that don't quite understand the character for what it is, and like this one needs it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah,
I feel like Star Wars casts the character, they don't know the character, they go back and research the character, and they come out like what?
But
like,
some people that's not true, because I think was it Fennec that used like the actress that I forget her name.
Ming.
Yes,
Yes.
she was like obsessed with Star Wars from like
She
before she
was.
was in Star Wars, and you know she like there's pictures of her in a Slave Leia outfit, and like when she was younger in college, and so like I love that they're bringing Star Wars fans that are actors and actresses in.
Even Bo-Katan too. I like how she brought live animation to live action, because I felt like, you know, some live action, like some animation characters, you know, you can let them play the live action.
Yeah.
And I think what Fennec was in the Book of Boba. Yeah. And of course you're gonna let her voice Fennec Shan.
Yes, she was so good. So yeah, I mean, I just even like a Night Sister series would be so amazing, because there is so much there that isn't told. And so when you go extended universe stuff with like some of the books and stories or short stories, like from a different perspective or from a certain point of view, did a Clone Wars one, and like there's so much there and so much potential that I really hope that's what they're teasing.
So now what do you want to happen with ASAJJ? Like what?
I want all the ASAJJ. I want all of it. Just give me all of it. I want her life story. I want like what happened. How did she? We'll get into that whole side of things, but like I want all of it. Like she's such a beloved character, and I think that it's such an injustice to not do more with her.
Yes, and I think like live action would be beautiful. Like don't get me wrong, I would like to see that. I would like to see
well, yes.
Yeah, it would be done well, but I feel like you would need like the voice still though. Like the voice makes Ventress. Like, yes, you'll have her makeup, the hair, great, she'll look great, but the voice is what really does it for Ventress.
But look what they did with Vader in the original trilogy. You know, they had an actor in the suit, but they did a voiceover, and I think that would still work, or it could work, because it would be hard, because like but then you look at like Ahsoka, and Ashley Eckstein's voice for Ahsoka is so
beautiful,
iconic. And it's iconic. Like and then, you know, but the crossover, like I really wish they did use Ashley, but Rosario Dawson did an amazing job as well, and so we still loved that character. So it's possible to not use the voice, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how I would feel about that if I like was just sitting back and watching it. And I think that if the actress did a good enough job, I would be okay with her voice being a little bit different. But I don't know.
Right? Like even with Thrawn, like if they didn't cast Lars as Thrawn, I would not. I feel like I wouldn't watch the show. And I'm an Ahsoka Tano fan.
I don't know. If the show is good enough, I feel like you slowly forget it a little bit. You forget that the voice. Like, yes, it's so iconic, but like, did you have an issue with like Ashley Eckstein not being Ahsoka in Ahsoka, and like, or did you enjoy the show?
You're right. That's a good. I say this. I wanted Ashley to do it. I did, but she can't. She is. She's the sweetest like human alive. Like, I've met her.
Yeah,
I met her. She was amazing.
Yeah.
But I came to terms like, okay, she wasn't. She could have did the voice, but she wasn't like the color. She wasn't like, it was like maybe the height. It was probably they needed like a light skinned girl to play her, and Ashley is not that. You know, I don't want to say anything like mean or anything, but
I think it was just a choice, and it was an opinion-based choice, and so I think Rosario did an amazing job. Would I have loved to see Ashley in that role? Absolutely. And we won't know the reasons, of course, like, because only the casting directors will know that.
They know it, yeah.
But I don't think it ruined anything. I'm sad for Ashley, but like, you know, I don't think it ruined anything, and I think it still was a wonderful show, and I'm excited for the next season.
Season 2, yeah. Like, I think with Ashley, like, not with the Ahsoka show, it didn't hit for me, because like I said, like, I love anime, like, I'm biased, though. It's like crazy for me. Like, animation is like the key. So I'm like biased. I'm always biased. I don't know why. It's just what I love. It's what I'm used to, and like I just love like how they can do it, how they can like the affection and stuff like that. You feel it, like you felt with ASAJJ Ventress coming back to like TV camera, and how she is different. She's a different ASAJJ that we saw in the Clone Wars, and as you read the Dark Disciple and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she, to me, I was waiting. Like, I don't know if you were, but I was waiting for her to be like to try to kill them.
I wasn't. Honestly, I wasn't. We had, I think the Maker was talking about it on a podcast, and I was just in the chat because we're all friends with those guys, and they were asking about predictions. And this was like before the show had even premiered. And I had said, I think that she's going to help them. I do. And like, I don't want to ruin anything in the book. So like, it's really hard, but like there is indications in the book that made me think that way. And it was very like subtle things, but there is things that I was like, I don't think she's, like she said, she's neither dark nor light. Like she's on her own. And so I think there's a lot of changes in character development there. And I think I wasn't surprised. I was like actually emotional about how soft she was, but still ASAJJ, like still kind of a bitch, but like in the best way. Like you're like, she's so hot. Like, why do I find this hot? Like, she's so attractive, but like she's
gets
so
it going.
soft. Yeah, like even my husband was like, "Are you? Wow,
wow."
I'm like, yeah,
but
I
like,
know.
I can see that. Like, as I watched the episode, I was like, okay, like, what is her plan here? Like, what is like, because it's like, if we didn't read the book, if you didn't know her story, you would think ASAJJ Ventress is this meaningful killer and stuff like that. So why does she want Omega? The questions will race in your mind, and then she's training Omega, and it's like, what are we doing here? And as I've read the book, like I think I'm on chapter 14 or 13, like you could see her changing a little. Like even when they rescue the kids, like there's a chapter where they rescue kids and they bring them back to their mom, and she sees Quinlan hug them and be cool with them and everything, and as the book goes on, you can see like, wow, does she actually want that? Does she want kids? Does she want to settle down?
Don't play with my heart. Like, I need that. I want them to live happily ever after. I will say, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, point out also in the beginning of the episode, just because we're kind of breaking it down and also tangenting, because that's who we are as people, but that's okay. There was the cave. So I think that caves, like there's been some really important moments throughout all of the trilogies, and now Clone Wars, or this, I guess this could be kind of lumped in with Clone Wars in a sense, like animation. Let's say that. But like Luke goes in the cave from Yoda, and then Rey goes in the cave to see her parents, or in the sequels. And I don't know if there's a cave in the prequels, but there is a lot of like transformative caves. So this is Omega going into a cave, and I think it was super symbolic because they made a point of her like saying like to Batcher, who I love, it looks like my dog.
I love Batcher.
I have a Frenchie and it looks just like Batcher and acts just like Batcher, except for way more misbehaved. But yeah, like you see this like transformative thing, and she says to Batcher, we've been in here before, like pointing out like this isn't like this is new, like this is, and so it's like walking into this cave, which shows parallels to things that we already know and love.
Yeah, and then we walk into the cave, and none other than ASAJJ Ventress is right behind her.
I was so excited.
I was like, yes! I think I had I have my reaction up, and it was like, it was the best, because I love ASAJJ. I think growing to love ASAJJ, like you have to understand her story and why she became the way she was, And I 100%. Feel like just like with Ahsoka, like Ahsoka is my ultimate favorite character in Star Wars, and to see her grow, you see her grow, and I would love like Tales of the Jedi are coming out, so maybe that will tell some of her story.
I think that's what they're gonna do. That's been kind of like the general consensus of like people's theories for sure. But also, like, people hated Ahsoka at first and
They did.
found her annoying, and then she became like one of the most beloved characters. And I never hated her. I thought she was. I watched Clone Wars like a little bit later. I didn't watch it as it released, but it's now my comfort show, and I don't ever stop watching it. But I think that ASAJJ is gonna. I don't think that they would bring her back for just this.
No,
then,
there's more.
Yeah, and then
They
like
even said it. She even said it. Nika Fetterman was like, "There in future content, you'll know how she survived. You'll understand that story." And I think
one of Dave Filoni's favorite characters, and like it's the people involved in Star Wars. It's ASAJJ is so well loved, so they're not going to screw it up. They're going to do a great job. I'm excited.
Yes, and I think you would do like Tales of the Jedi, or you would do animation show, because we all know, like, after Bad Batch is over, and now we're going to say 5 episodes, because the 10th episode is going to premiere and the 11th episode next Wednesday. So it's sad to see the show go, absolutely, but what is it setting up for?
Right.
That's the biggest question. Like, okay, we're going to be sad, we're going to cry our eyes out for the next month or so, but what is next for the animation? Because there's no animation left unless Tales of the Jedi, but they dropped Tales of the Jedi all at once. So it's not like it's not like every day or every Wednesday you'll watch an episode. But like, what do you think the next animation show will be? Because we've said on my show, like, a Captain Rex show, a Path show that ASAJJ and Quinlan have created, and Omega is involved in it, because we know Quinlan went through the tunnels, he has fame. But now Ventress is alive. We didn't get Ventress's name in the tunnel. So, what is next? Do you think we'll get like an ASAJJ Ventress show?
Okay, so I have to shout out our friend, Bourbon and Buckets. I call him Typer, but his name's Tyler. He called us last night at the gym, like, I just got off the treadmill and I have this theory, and this is like the type of friends we have, and it's so amazing. But he had an amazing theory that made sense to me, and I think that could technically be a spin-off, like, because we know Cal Kestis was part of that, all like the path and all that type of stuff too. Like, it all kind of ties in. But he said, I think that she already is with Quinlan, and that's why she's looking, and she came to find Omega. It wasn't because she wants to like kill her or take her. She's just already helping and protecting these Force-sensitive kids because the Empire's after them. So they're a big part of the path. And I was like, oh my, is this what you think about on the treadmill? Like, maybe I need to get on a treadmill, because this was amazing. And it makes sense to me, because then we see Quinlan's name. Like, why would they put Quinlan? We haven't seen Quinlan. He hasn't been super, like, he's been pretty low-key of a character.
Yes.
And so why would they put his name in there if that wasn't something that they were planning? They're kind of breadcrumbing. So, like, I don't know. It could be not, but I would love a Path story, because that would even tie in, like, Andor or Kenobi, and, like, all of those things. It would kind of just tie it in, and it would be so genius. But I don't know.
It would be really awesome to see a Path show. Because you could put ASAJJ with Quinlan doing missions with children and stuff like that, finding Force-sensitive children and putting them to the path. Some, like, it's not going to be a happy show. Some little younglings will die, or some younglings.
But we love dark Star Wars, because all of us, like, nerdy little kids that grew up with the prequels are now ready for our dark Star Wars. So
yes, and I think, like, we're gonna see, like, we don't need to see it, but we would love to see it. Like, I have an obsession. I don't have an obsession, but it's gonna sound like an obsession of Order 66. Like, I just want to see, like, more of that. Like, I want to see how many Jedi survived it. Like, because every Jedi, like, so far we've seen has survived it, and we're like, how do these Jedi survive Order 66? Yeah. Like, we know how Quinlan survived. Quinlan can feel the floor, and he can feel the vibrations throughout. He can sense it. So that's how he knows, like, okay, something is happening here. Something is coming.
Yeah, and there's more, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there is more that that will kind of make more sense of that for you, I think. because like there's parts of it for me that make sense, but I'm not gonna say it on here because like it will ruin the entire ending for you. So I'm not gonna say it on here. But keep that thought in mind as you finish reading this book, because
okay, I'll probably finish. I'll probably text you. I'll be like, "Girl, I finished it."
Please. Yes.
Now, can you tell me everything?
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
But I mean, a Path show would be amazing. I would love to see more Night Sister stuff because I think that they got kind of cut short, and there's so much history and lore there that could be turned into something like really intelligent and really dark and really entertaining. But I don't know. It's hard to say with animation wise, because the Outlaws game is coming out, so maybe like something off of that, or something off of Cal Kestis, or who knows.
Yeah, there's so much Star Wars that you can get, and so much I feel like every time we watch Star Wars, it's like they hit us with something good, and then it goes away. Like ASAJJ. Just say ASAJJ. We see ASAJJ right now, and then 2 years down the line, she's back on our screens again. It's like, why can't we just keep this ride going?
And you know what was crazy is, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about my cosplay, but I just started cosplaying like a year ago-ish, maybe 2 years. And so I like wanted to be ASAJJ, and we haven't seen ASAJJ for like 10 years. And then I start cosplaying her, and then she shows up, and like it just like feeds my obsession. And I was like, the timing for this couldn't be better for me. Like, I'm gonna be selfish, and I'm like, yep, it was for me, and I'm so excited about it. But there's so many people who love that character.
It is, and I feel like people now will love her more, because she's back and she's present, and there's so much unansweredness with her and her character.
Yeah.
But throughout the episode, I don't know if you felt this, but I felt this throughout the episode. Like, Omega, to me, I always said on the show, she is for sensitives. She is that. I've always said that, because they're not going to give her a theme, and she's not that. No one's that important to get a theme. Obi-Wan Kenobi did not get a theme until his own show, and he's one of the most famous Jedis.
Yeah, one of the good, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm like, this girl got a theme in episode 5 or episode 1, and the theme didn't come out until, of course, the soundtrack 1 through 8. Of course, her theme's on it. Yeah. But so throughout the episode, I could see she is a real Jedi. How she really is, mannerism with ASAJJ, like she wants to try, but just like everybody, they hold back because over their not spouses, but brothers, spouses, or something like that. You could see that she's holding back. She is holding back.
Okay, but look at the training scene, or even the apple scene, and even when they go out on the boat, it is identical to Yoda training Luke.
Yeah.
Because they go, it's too hard, I can't do it. And then they do these crazy little tests, lifting rocks, or lifting an X-Wing, or, summoning creatures, or lifting rocks. I'm not I'm not a huge sequels fan. Do I like them? Yes. Do I watch them consistently? No. So I can't really quote a lot of it, but I know when Luke was training Rey, there was a lot of these same things. So they're hinting to something. Somebody's going to train Omega, in my opinion, because there's so little Force sensitive kids out there, because they're all getting murdered by the Empire, or taken if they're found. So I think that that's what they're foreshadowing there, if you want my opinion on that.
And I really think with ASAJJ is in her own, she says, I'm on my own. I don't work for anybody. It's my own, and I feel like she says that, but a little part of her always wants to help now, she wants to do good, but always there's going to be that old ASAJJ Ventress, that's always going to be part of her, but her past doesn't define her. And I think this whole season of Bad Batch is about that. With Crosshair, and you get Crosshair's redemption. His past. Look what he did the last 2 seasons of Bad Batch.
Well, even in the beginning, you see him kind of flirty with one of the people, and then I think it was Wrecker who was I see him making some friends, and he was a little embarrassed. But we're seeing humanity come out of Crosshair, and we're seeing that in ASAJJ too, all in the same episode. But I think it's so beautiful.
Yes, and like even when like they go, oh, this is her, this is ASAJJ, and ASAJJ catches it, and she's like, what you're about to do, I promise you, like it's not gonna go that way.
Yeah.
Like she's not gonna hurt you, but she's gonna protect herself. And I love that whole fighting sequence.
So good.
It was
So
like
good.
I was like watching Cobra Kai. I was like, wow, I was trying to do it with him.
But it felt like Star Wars. It felt like real Star Wars. It felt like the Star Wars we all know and love. And I feel like that is like such a pivotal thing with all this controversy. Like, how did she live? And like, we can talk about that. But like, with all of that and the negative talk, but this episode felt like Star Wars. Like, just at its core, it was Star Wars. And I don't know how to explain that, but like, she could have murdered all those guys. Come on, like she didn't though, and because there's a reason that she didn't. She was kind of toying with them a little bit, but she's also like flexing her muscles, and she's showing that she's not weak. She's showing the yellow lightsaber. She's showing, which is like in itself a symbol of like not being left or right. Like it's like a sign of knowing yourself. And like the temple guards have yellow, and it's like a mastery color.
And it's so fun to see her like use that. And and I thought she was actually, to be honest, I thought she was gonna stay with them. I thought she was gonna like stay with them, but then I was like towards the middle and towards the end, I was like, okay, there's something more with her, but we're not gonna get her with Omega. But I don't think I'm far fetching this. I really am. But like the beginning episode is foreshadowing something too, like Pabu. Like it was like we see Pabu beautiful, and now it's all like dark and everything, and it's like
and like gray.
So it's like foreshadowing something that's coming, and we saw in the trailer that they do invade Pabu. The Empire does find out, and ASAJJ is just foreshadowing and more saying the Empire is not going to find you. You might as well leave this planet and go somewhere else. She found them, and she did it and no one tracked her. She was hot in the cave.
But maybe that's from Quinlan. Like because he has telepathy, so like maybe Quinlan could touch something of the Bad Batches. I don't know, but I don't know. I hope, and I'm hopeful that she's in more. But I'm not holding my breath because they gave her a full episode, which I'm so grateful for and probably will watch 2,000 times. But I don't know if it's just a foreshadow because we have been breadcrumbed in the past, or we're going to see her again. I hope we do, but I'm not positive we will.
Imagine this scene. You ready? This is going to be awesome. When the Empire invades Pabu, right? The only people that know that they're there is ASAJJ. She comes and rescues them. And Quinlan's there. They both jump out and they just start murking people.
I would cry and then maybe cry some more and then like throw up from how amazing.
Like that would be like a cool scene. Like I thought about that as the episode went on, because when she left, I was like, oh, she's leaving. I said, okay. She said, because I feel like the Empire doesn't know she's alive. I feel like they don't know she's alive until like the Inquisitors start going after her. I don't know when the Inquisitors start. I don't know what time. I don't know like when that happens, like when they get all sent out and start killing old Jedi. But
I feel like it's relatively soon after the Clone Wars ends. But
so they should be out there now.
Soon, if not now, soon, because well, in Kenobi, there's Inquisitors, and that's not super far off of where we are in the timeline. It's not. So everything, the book, the end of Clone Wars, Dooku dying, Ventress dying, and Bad Batch are all placed within the same year. So it's all 19 BBY.
Oh, okay.
So all of this is kind of happening within the same time period. And like there is a few timeline things that don't necessarily add up without some explanation, but all of this is happening like relatively within the same year.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought about that throughout the episode. If she would stay, if she would not, and then gladly, her business is done. But my favorite, I feel like, scene was, I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting. And I was like, yes.
so Ventress. It's so Ventress. Like,
And then I like when she like they know who she is, and they point the guns at her, and then she goes, "Phew, no cheating," and I was like, yes, no cheating, and then they just like she just Cobra Kai, like so WWE dropped the elbow on her or something, you know?
It's so good, and I got goosebumps, and I was like, the whole time, like, could not handle it, but she could have killed them. Like, if she did no problem, like, she was holding Wrecker up by the throat with the Force. Like, she could have killed them. They're fine.
They're fine. But the best scene, I feel like, to get to that ASAJJ Ventress has changed her ways. You know, when she reached out with the animal, you know?
So good. I almost made that my background, but it kind of matched my hair, so it didn't really work. But yeah, like, you see that love and softness. And even in the animal's eyes, you see that. And you see how powerful she still is. Like, she didn't lose her connection to the Force. Like, Kenobi cut himself off from the Force. She's not doing that.
Or she's doing a great job using it and not using it at different times.
Yeah. And there is, like, a few things with creatures of different types, especially water creatures in Dark Disciple. So it's cool how they paralleled that, in my opinion. Because the Night Sisters have a lot of lore with all of that. And creatures of the, I guess, Green Sea. Because it would be this, like, in the waters of Dathomir. So I'm excited. I don't know. I don't want to get too excited, because then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I just got to wait another 10 years to get more. But
that's really the episode with Bad Batch. That's really the breakdown of it. Like, ASAJJ trains Omega. Omega does have a high metachlorian count that we could see in the
She lies about it.
She does lie.
When Omega's there.
She does. I think she is trying to protect Omega and not worry her as much, but something's going down. You know, that's all I can really say, really. Something is going down. We don't know how the season's going to end. Now, people have seen the rest of the season, except for the finale. So they've seen it. So, yes, people have seen it. It was all over social media today. I don't know. I want to get the episodes beforehand.
I'm going to be a good girl and wait, because, you know, I want to, because I can't even talk about it if I've seen it, because I don't want to spoil it for other people.
Yeah, but and you'll probably be, like, fined by Lucasfilm if you do say anything.
I want to stay in their good graces in case they do need a live action Ventress. Like, I'm gonna be a good girl and watch it when it comes out.
But yeah, so some people have seen episode 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 15 they have not seen, because that's the series finale. They have not seen that. But
can you tell us? Do you know? Is there more Ventress? Do you know?
No, they don't say that. They do not say anymore. They just say, I think they're like people that like are not critics, but like podcasters and stuff like that get to see it. Yeah. But they said, you think you know in the beginning that it was dark and loomy. Just wait for these episodes coming.
I hope they don't kill Ventress. I hope we don't see that. I can't emotionally handle it.
No, I think it's going to be with the Bad Batch. I think it's going to be, like they said, it's an emotional roller coaster.
Tech was enough. I cried so hard when Tech died, so I don't want any more people dying. Can we just leave everybody alive, please?
I hope. I really hope. I don't plan on the Bad Batch dying at all. I really don't. I don't want them to die. I think they would be. I think they could be in another series somewhere, or some other series. But I don't see them all dying, especially with Omega there too. You know, that would be.
Yeah.
And you know, if just say one of them does pass, I think Omega will awaken the Force. Maybe that would be.
Wouldn't that be Hunter then? And wouldn't that be so devastating to watch Hunter die in front of Omega?
It would be, and then she Force heals him.
I really don't want to like bring that into fruition. So like, let's just like pretend I didn't say that. That would be really devastating. And even with Crosshair, like she's getting so close with Crosshair.
Even Wrecker. I would feel bad for
Wrecker. Wrecker's not dying. I can't. He wasn't even on my radar because he's too sweet. He won't die.
They're all amazing. I've grown to love every member of the Bad Batch. Like Crosshair, probably is my favorite one because of his story. And I love a good story, and they're killing it with his story.
Tech was my favorite because he also was extremely autistic, and so I just was like, I relate with this character. There were so many times my husband looked at me and was like, "You're Tech," and it's really gross.
It's like
Not
really
gross, but
disgusting.
funny. And I was like, yeah, well, sorry. No, it was great.
But yeah, so people have seen the episodes. Now I'm going to ask you the final question, and then we're going to get into you.
Ooh.
What do you think, or what do you want to happen in these last 5 episodes of the Bad Batch? What is your prediction for the last 5 episodes? If you could say, if you just want to say a word, or you think what's going to happen, like what is the end game for the Bad Batch?
Well, let's be honest, Filoni likes to emotionally destroy us. So there's going to be something incredibly sad. I can almost guarantee that. But I hope, like we haven't seen Rex for a minute and Echo. So, I think that whole story with Tanis is going to come together. And they were talking about Project Necromancer, but they only quickly mentioned it. So I feel like there's going to be some closure to that. I don't know how they're going to do that in 5 episodes. Like that's going to be a lot. But I think that everything's going to come to a circle with the Bad Batch themselves. And they're going to leave the end part open with the Empire and cloning and all that stuff, because I think that's too much to close off in the end of 5 episodes. I think that they're just going to give us a little more information and breadcrumb us with that, but I think that they're going to in a way make a really sad ending or a complete ending for the Bad Batch, so we aren't just left like, oh, okay, now what, but I don't know, it's really hard to say.
No, that's fine. But what's next for the Bad Batch? What is the last episode title? Is The Cavalry Has Arrived. That is the final title of episode 15. That is the last episode. I don't know how long it's going to be. I hope it's 40 minutes, like they did with Rebels. Like they did Rebels 44 minutes, 45 minutes. I hope they make the finale like that.
Do you think that they're going to do what they did with Ahsoka? Like the last episode of Rebels went right into Ahsoka. Into live action.
Yeah, but I don't think. See, now this is my problem with the Bad Batch. I really wouldn't want Tamir Morrison playing all the clones. Like I don't picture that.
He wouldn't play the Bad Batch though, because they're all defective clones and they all look different. So you could technically have whoever play them, as long as they had a likeness,
Yeah, I would feel that, but I wouldn't like I said, I'm biased, so don't go by what I'm telling you.
That's fine.
Don't go by. I think what D. Bradley Baker did with all of them, he made them like their own clone. He made Rex. He didn't make CT 75 400. He made that one different, and then just look at Mayday. Look at Mayday. What happened to him in season 2? And then foreshadowing in season 3, we see his helmet and everything. They go back to that planet,
and the change in crosshair, and he softens. He has a arc too.
And I think D. Bradley Baker did such a great job, and he voices Batcher too, which I love.
I didn't know that. That makes me love Batcher even more.
He voiced Batcher. So it just brings with D, to me, he is my clone. Tamir Morrison can't change his voice. That's the voice he's gonna have for the rest of his life. He does. Don't get me wrong. He's good. But he's not
he's not your Bad Batch. I get it.
Yes, correct. Rex is Tamir. Rex is like D. Bradley. Tamir Morrison, nah.
I mean, and that's what I love about Star Wars is there's something for everybody, and there's multiple characters that people love so much. Before all of this, ASAJJ felt like a really obscure character for me to be obsessed with, and there wasn't a whole lot out there. But now it's it's nice because I can chat with other ASAJJ obsessed people, and it's gonna be more. And I'm always I'm not a gatekeeper. I think that the more people that get into Star Wars and find something for them in Star Wars it's better. It might not. Do I agree with every single choice that they've made in Star Wars? Absolutely not. But I'm a prequels kid. I will fight anybody who says that the prequels are bad. I'll fight them because that's my favorite Star Wars. It's not actually. Well,
I know.
Yeah, I'll verbally have a debate with them, and OT guys like would be not very nice to people who loved the prequels. And so I didn't want to be that way with the sequels because the sequels are the next generation Star Wars. They're how
Correct.
prequels were for us. And so like I just think that it's awesome that there's going to be all these little generations of Star Wars and we can kind of just come together with something we love universally, but we all have our like subcategories.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a big sequels fan. I'm not a big sequels fan. But the prequels I love. The Revenge of the Sith is like my favorite movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
But switching gears for a moment here, TJ, you're an amazing cosplayer. We just talked about ASAJJ Ventress and what she means to us. What does she mean to you, ASAJJ Ventress? If you could describe her, if she was a real person, you know, sitting your best friend,
Yeah.
how would you describe ASAJJ Ventress today in your life?
Resilient and inspirational because like I said before, she's almost like a dark side Kenobi. So Kenobi's my favorite light side character. And he lost everything and never turned to the dark side. And he always stayed true in his heart. And so that sounds so cheesy, but Ventress has been through it. She's like a realistic Kenobi to me. Like for me, I just relate so much with her because I've been through lots in my life that hasn't been so fantastic, but she is one of the few people because she never actually fully fell to the dark side. She was light side training as a Jedi, super strong, independent woman, and she got in as like an assassin with the Sith, which is really hard to do. And then I don't want to ruin anything in the book, but you know, she just do
it, ruin it for me.
No,
I'm gonna ruin it anyway.
It's not even something that's like legit, but it's something that's kind of like hinted, and she comes full circle and sees the light again. And so she's had everything working against her, and she still manages to be this like badass human being. And I just love her sass, and I think that she does it in such a way that's like so eloquent. Like I don't know, like I said, like she's kind of a bitch, but like a hot bitch where you're like, damn, like how do you like speak like that and I still want to listen to you speak. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't, because that's like with Thrawn. Like Thrawn can talk to me and he'll be like, "I'll kill you." Yeah, kill me.
And I'd be like, "Yeah, tell me how you're gonna do it. It'll be so great." Yeah, like I just want to hear your plans. Like,
yeah, like what are you gonna do to me? You know?
Yeah,
like a Friday night, you know, a Saturday night. You know, what can we do?
Like, I don't know. There's so much. I think too, in a time where there wasn't a lot of female characters on the dark side like that. It was, and I've always been like super light side, except for ASAJJ and probe droids because I think they're really cute. But like everything else has been like light side. But I just think that ASAJJ is almost like a realistic view of what humans would look like if they went through what she did, and she's super strong. So
she is. I think she's a strong female character, ASAJJ.
Yeah.
And the people that don't know her, you know, get to know her because ASAJJ is a badass, you know. And if you talk shit about her, you're coming for me and Hoth, my BFFer. So don't play with us, you know. We
can argue about it, you know. I'm really good at arguing, so come at me, bro.
At me.
I'm just kidding. Don't do it. But yeah, I don't know. I think she just was somebody that really resonated with me, and like so many parts of her story just hit me right in the feels. And so it's something that I can't even explain. It's just, you know, you attach to these certain characters, and her and Kenobi and R2 are like my OGs, and K2SO, but you know, K2SO is like Rogue One.
Yeah. Ahsoka for me is that character, you know. And I see like that with ASAJJ as well. Yes. You know, like getting to know her story in the Clone Wars, like I feel that, you know, you have
to wait. You're gonna be so obsessed by the time you finish this book. I tell everybody, like, everyone thinks that she's like, you know, like, because they write her as being this like sexy, tall, and you're like, really? Like how? Because she's like, ah, like she has like a really deep, like froggy voice. But then when you get through Dark Disciple and then you see this episode, you're like, Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, like
I see what you're doing there, you know.
yeah. Mhm.
But my next question to you is, what made you cosplay as ASAJJ? Like, what? Like,
So I wish I didn't because like not that like I didn't do it, but I wish that I wasn't obsessed with her because like I have really long hair and it's one of the most difficult costumes. I've never cosplayed before. I'd done for the Star Cruiser. I made like an OC Jedi character, but like that's easy because I'm not copying anything. I'm just making up my own character. But I have this side by side video of me and ASAJJ. And obviously like I have such a passion for her, but and like her vibe is kind of the same vibe without all the killing and like, savageness, but like I feel like it's a lot of the same vibe that I am told I carry. So I have this side by side video of my profile, like from the side, and then the sideshow.
oh, okay.
And it's like pretty close. And so for me, I'm like, I think anyone can cosplay as anybody, and I think it's amazing. But I personally like to try and cosplay like people that have a little bit of a like physical likeness to me. I'm also built like a skinwalker, like, and I'm okay with it. Or like a Kaminoan. I always say like my ancestors are Kaminoan because I'm tall and like gangly and long and weird. So it was just like it was an aha moment where I was like, I want to do this. I feel like I could rock this, and that's how it started. And it's been like lit on fire the entire time. It's been crazy.
No, it looks badass. That's
Thank
like
you.
looks really good. Now, to everybody watching, everybody out there, all the girls, what is the one thing you would tell a little girl or 15, those type girls,
Yeah.
those type of ages, if they want to start cosplaying, what would you tell them? Advice to them growing up into the Star Wars.
Don't listen to anybody that tells you you can't. Don't listen to the boys that say Star Wars is just for boys. You can do anything that the boys can do. And if you have a passion for something, don't let other people tell you that it's stupid. Because if you don't think it's stupid, it's not stupid. And so I think that there's a lot of more inclusivity happening in like the cosplay communities, but just try it. You could make armor out of cardboard if you wanted to. Like, you could make it out of, I don't know, anything you possibly want. You don't need a 3D printer. You don't need a fancy sewing machine. I had no idea what I was doing. I went on YouTube, learned how to sew, and I made everything right from scratch. So if I can do it, you can do it.
That was so lovely.
Oh, no. Thank you. Oh, thank you. No, that's the honest truth, though, because, like, there has been a lot of hate, and there has been a lot of people kind of shitty. Like, people can just be really shitty.
And I don't know how people, like, I'm like a nice person. I don't know how to be mean. Like, I have not, like I could tell you just say we're fighting, or I'll be like, yeah, I'll mess you up. But in reality, do you think I'm going to mess you up? Like,
no,
do you
people are crazy. Like,
yeah, I know.
When I was first building my TikTok, because I started as a lightsaber spinner, and I still love doing lightsaber flow. It's still like a massive part of what I want to be known for. But I would do TikTok lives, and people would just come on to tell me that they think I'm ugly, or I would be pretty if I didn't have all my tattoos. But I think it's also really important for the younger generation to remember, like, most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, that comment has nothing to do with you. And it's somebody's insecurity or someone's trauma. And so if you remember that, it doesn't really hurt when they say stuff like that. And it takes the power away. And do I think it's okay? No. But taking that reaction away, like, oh, God, they think I'm ugly. I better go change stuff about myself. Like, if you just remember that that's not necessary, then they're going to lose their power eventually, hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, like, I feel like a lot of, I was talking with Gianni V about stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the misconception of things, It's like, it's a lot, like what I said to you earlier, not off camera.
Yeah.
The Acolyte, getting so much hate for the Acolyte, and it hasn't even been out yet. But those people, those 500 dislikes on that trailer are gonna watch the actual show. You know, we and you can sit here and say, well, I'm not gonna watch the movies that come out in like 10 years from now. No, we're gonna be there. Like, we're gonna be there. You know
Well,
what I
and I
mean?
will
Like,
say, like, I don't like anime. 100%. I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed of it. Like, for sure, there's probably some anime out there that would suit me, and I'm not against it. I love that other people love anime. Like, don't get me wrong, but the animation style doesn't work for my brain. I don't know what it is. I can't help it. But I didn't watch Visions because I don't want to put something down that other people love. So, like, if I'm like, nah, that's probably not something I'm gonna. It's the only Star Wars I haven't watched. Probably
okay.
not something I'm gonna like. Then I just don't watch it. Like, and then guess what? I have nothing bad to say about it because I didn't watch it. And
Watch
it's
it,
not
yeah.
a-
The first season is great. Like the first season,
Yeah.
I think you would love, but the second season, no. Second season, I don't know what they did.
Yeah, and it's no hate on anime. Like, I want to make that very clear. Like, I don't think anime is stupid, or I don't think it's just not for
Not
me.
just for you.
Yeah,
Just,
and it's okay. Like, that's why there's so many different things out there for everybody. Like, it just people love to hate, and so even I think I said this to you earlier is like when Ventress showed up in the episode, I woke up. I watch it right at like for me. It's
yes.
I'm in Colorado, so it's like 1 when it drops, and so I went to bed that night. And I woke up to like 20 messages from people who don't even follow me at all, like on my profile,
Oh, wow.
saying basically like it's stupid that she's there and alive and all this stuff. And I was like, I just don't understand like what I'm like, hey, I love this so much. I'm so happy. My heart is so full. And someone's like, that's dumb. You shouldn't like that. It's not that I care because like I really don't care if somebody else thinks I should like something or don't like it, but I just don't think that people should have the like audacity to be like, oh yeah, here's my opinion on what you should like.
Yeah.
And it's a problem right now.
Like her coming back is like no problem at all. Like Star Wars has recon things. Just look at what Caleb Doom did. You know, he wasn't supposed to really like he should have never met the Bad Batch. You know, the Bad Batch should have never been on collar, you know? Just
Okay,
look at
but
that
like
one.
also half these people loved Starkiller, did they not? Like no one had a problem with Starkiller being a clone the second half
Yeah.
of his storyline, and Starkiller died. Starkiller was like dead. And that's not him, but nobody had a problem with that. So it's like you can just like pick and choose, but now that everyone feels like opinions are important and you're entitled to one, but that doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
And like and maybe it's right for you, but it's not necessarily right for everybody else, and that's okay. Like it's having like discussions and disagreements and educated, open-minded conversations is fine. But telling people they shouldn't like something because you don't isn't okay.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You should have saw. I don't know if you because they've been posting Star Wars about ASAJJ all day today, and a lot of the comments are like so like mean, not mean, but like oh they're retconning stuff
I don't
like
even
that.
read it.
So it's like I didn't even like read all of them, but I was like, this is like stupid. Why don't we just like sit down, have a cup of tea, you know, and just like enjoy ASAJJ Ventress back? Like that's what I did. Like I screamed and shouted and let it all out.
We, in the same conversation that my husband and I had with Bourbon and Buckets last night, he was like, we were talking about how they literally released an article that said, we are not retconning Dark Disciple. So you guys know, we're not, just stay calm. It's all going to work out. We're not retconning it. And people are like, what? What? And then even when like people would message me and be like, because I've talked about Dark Disciple before all of this, before we even knew she was in Bad Batch. People were like, oh, like how do you feel about Dark Disciple being retconned? And then would send me the article that said it's not being retconned. And I was like, I don't know if like you just didn't read the article or like you're literally proving yourself wrong. Like it's just hard because the general public just wants to hate things because it gets more views. Controversy gets more views, and it's unfortunate, but
that's the world we live in today.
Yeah, it sucks. But people get passionate, and like I love when people get passionate because it shows like watching somebody talk about something that they love is a really cool thing, and it makes me excited. But it can work both ways. So if you're doing something that they don't agree with, it's like it is not great.
It can. So my final question to you, TJ.
Yes.
My final question. Are you ready? Are you prepared?
Oh no, I don't know. You're scaring me now.
So what is your dream project in Star Wars? It could be a ASAJJ show. It could be anything you want. Star Wars related. It could be live action or animation. So if you're in the writing booth writing, what are you going to want to write about? What do you want to have on the television screen for everybody to know?
Well, they're already doing one of them because I think Origins of the Jedi, Start of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, the first ever Jedi.
Yes, and this is like I have a few. Sorry, I can't.
Right.
But Origins, like that's something that I've always wanted to see. Like the very start of the Jedi, the Zepho. Clearly, I'm obsessed. But I want to see more of that. And I don't know how they would do that because they would have to probably do it in animation to make it legit, or like a video game, because there was so much in the Jedi games with that I just was like, I loved it so much. It was so beautiful. But those two things definitely like pre all the stuff we have. But Night Sisters, I want more. I want to see like how, because we got a little bit of it in Ahsoka, like, and I was like, oh my god, like I was so excited to see the Great Mothers,
and they're going to Dathomir.
Yeah, and like to think about seeing. I know you're not a huge live action fan, but think about seeing a bunch of Dathomirian men, like Maul and Savage, and all of like a clan, but having these like women and seeing their life, because like. Seeing the like subtleties of like how do they start families? Is it normal like our families, or like is it different because the women are the leaders in that society? So what does that look like?
Yeah.
And then how did ASAJJ fit in there during the time that she spent? She didn't spend a ton of time there, obviously, but just being able, because like that could make a full, well-rounded series, and I think that would be great. And there's one other thing, but it'll never happen. But a Planet Earth style with Star Wars creatures, I want that so bad. Take all my money.
You know, like a Futurama type stuff.
Like, literally flying through different environments and being like, and here is the Tauntaun. Like, I would just, like, I really want that. And, like, seeing, like, little Tauntauns, like, baby Tauntauns running around and, like, all the different creatures, I think you could do something really cool with that.
I think you could. I think you could do anything with those 3 dream shows that you wanted. I think with the Night Sisters, I think even with ASAJJ VENTRESS now, she could be living on Dathomir.
Well, yeah, and like, what about? Did you play the Jedi games?
Of course.
So, like, why am I spacing?
Mirren.
I don't know why that. I was thinking about Dathomir, and then Mirren, like. I want to see, like, how did that turn into that? Where is she from? Where's the clan that she's from? Is that the original, like, is that from Ventress? Like, does that trickle down from Ventress? Like, where is that from?
Is she Ventress's daughter?
Dun, dun, dun. I guess it would be, like, great-granddaughter, but, you know, it would work. Like, there's so many things that, and there's different, so, from a certain point of view, it are really cool books. And there's a story about the Night Sisters. And so there's different clans of Night Sisters. So Talzin was like the most powerful and popular. But she was also super ruthless. But there was also different clans within Dathomir and the Night Sisters. So that had completely different outlooks and views on the way life worked. So it could be like a sub-series, and I would love to know more about that.
It would be.
Sorry, I just ranted.
No, it's okay. No, because it gets me thinking. It makes me think too. Like the Night Sisters, like you never really thought about the Night Sisters. Like they're just there. You know, they were in the Clone Wars.
I did. They're like they're my everything. So I just think they're cool. But yeah.
You just have your seance in the basement of your house, and you just be like with your night sister ball, and you just
My
like,
my magics,
Your
my
magic.
green light. Yeah, if you could actually see this, it's green, so it looks like it's not though. But
but we gotta get out. We have to head out now. TJ, thank you.
Such a pleasure.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, talking about it. You're welcome back on my show anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. You're killing it with your cosplay. Please keep up the hard work. I know you have your cosplay for the Bad Batch, you know, sneak peek, you know, maybe coming soon. Maybe coming soon.
Yes.
But before we go, where can everybody find you on the social medias?
The socials. So I'm on TikTok with DropitLikeitsSoth right here. Someone stole my username on Instagram, so it's just DropitLikeitsSoth.tj on Instagram. Sorry, I meant this one on TikTok, and then .tj on Instagram. So in YouTube, I don't really have anything. I mean, I have a few old videos, and it's just DropitLikeitsSoth. So.
Okay. I will put all the links in the bio, guys, to go check out TJ. Thank you so much again, TJ, for coming on the Scevoli Tonight Show. It was such a pleasure having you on the show.
So fun.
And talking our love for ASAJJ. But thank you guys for watching at home. Guys, be kind to one another, and may the force be with you, my friends.
Always.
Bye.
Bye.
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.